It's a pleasure to have you join me on this virtual journey. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you join us as we uncover the secrets of Rashida Tlaib. Rashida Harbi Tlaib, born July 24, 1976, is an American lawyer and politician serving as a U.S. representative from Michigan since 2019, representing the state's 12th congressional district since 2023. A member of the Democratic Party, she is the first Palestinian American woman to serve in Congress and one of the first two Muslim women elected along with Ilhan Omar to Congress. Tlaib was born to working-class Palestinian immigrants in Detroit in 1976. She graduated from Southwestern High School in Detroit in 1994, from Wayne State University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science in 1998, and from Thomas and Cooley Law School with a Juris Doctor in 2004. Tlaib was admitted to the bar in the state of Michigan in 2007. She began her political career in 2004 when she interned with State Representative Steve Tobocman, who hired her to his staff when he became Majority Floor Leader in 2007, and encouraged her to run for his seat the next year. She did so, and won the election. Tlaib represented the 6th and 12th districts in the Michigan House of Representatives. She was the first Muslim woman to serve in Michigan's legislature. In 2018, she won the Democratic nomination and the general election for the United States House of Representatives in Michigan's 13th congressional district. Tlaib and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are the first female members of Democratic Socialists of America to serve in Congress. Tlaib is a member of the Squad, an informal group of U.S. representatives on the left wing of the Democratic Party. As a U.S. representative, Tlaib has been a vocal critic of both the Trump and Biden administrations. She has argued in favor of abolishing U.S. immigration and customs enforcement. Tlaib voted to impeach President Donald Trump in both 2019 and 2021. She is sharply critical of Israel, viewing it as an apartheid state. Tlaib has called for an end to U.S. aid to Israel. She supports the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement and a one-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. On November 7, 2023, Tlaib was censured by the House of Representatives in response to her public statements following the October 7 Hamas-led attack on Israel. Let's zoom in on early life and education and understand its implications. Rashida Harbi was born in Detroit on July 24, 1976, the eldest of 14 children born to working-class Palestinian immigrants. Her mother was born in Beit el-Foka, near the West Bank city of Ramallah. Her father was born in Beit Hanina, a neighborhood in East Jerusalem. He moved first to Nicaragua, then to Detroit. He worked on an assembly line in a Ford Motor Company plant. As the eldest, Tlaib played a role in raising her siblings while her parents worked. Tlaib attended elementary school at Harms, Bennett Elementary, and Phoenix Academy. She graduated from Southwestern High School in Detroit in 1994. Tlaib received a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science from Wayne State University in 1998 and her Juris Doctor from Thomas and Cooley Law School in 2004. Tlaib was admitted to the bar in the state of Michigan in 2007. In this section, we'll be shedding light on Michigan House of Representatives and its impact on our understanding of the subject. Tlaib began her political career in 2004 when she interned with State Representative Steve Tobocman. When Tobocman became Majority Floor Leader in 2007, he hired Tlaib to his staff. In 2008, Tobocman encouraged Tlaib to run for his seat, which he was vacating due to term limits. The urban district is 40% Hispanic, 25% African American, 30% non-Hispanic white Americans, and 2% Arab American. Tlaib faced a crowded primary that included several Latinos, including former State Representative Belda Garza. She emerged victorious, carrying 44% of the vote in the 8-way Democratic primary and winning the general election with over 90% of the vote. In 2010, Tlaib faced a primary election challenge from Jim Chakrowski in his first bid for office. Tlaib picked up 85% of the vote to Chakrowski's 15% and won the general election with 92% of the vote against Republican challenger Darren Daigle. In 2012, Tlaib won re-election to the Michigan House in the newly redrawn 6th District. Tlaib faced fellow incumbent Maureen Stapleton in the Democratic primary and defeated her. She won the general election with 92% of the vote against Republican nominee Darren Daigle. Tlaib could not run for the Michigan House a fourth time in 2014 because of term limits. Instead, she ran for the Michigan Senate, losing to incumbent Senator Virgil Smith Jr. in the 2014 Democratic primary. Tlaib is the first Muslim woman to serve as a member of the Michigan State Legislature. She is also the second Muslim woman after Jamila Nasheed of Missouri to serve in a state legislature nationwide. After leaving the state legislature, Tlaib worked at Sugar Law Center, a Detroit nonprofit that provides free legal representation for workers. Brace yourself for an in-depth analysis as we navigate through 2018 special and its far-reaching implications. In 2018, Tlaib announced her candidacy for the U.S. House of Representatives in Michigan's 13th congressional district. Longtime Representative John Conyers had resigned from Congress in December 2017 due to a sexual harassment scandal. Tlaib filed in both the Democratic primary in the special election for the balance of Conyers' 27th term and in the general election for a full two-year term. As of July 16, 2018, Tlaib had raised $893,030 in funds, more than her five opponents in the August 7 Democratic primary. Tlaib, as a member of the Justice Democrats, made a guest appearance on the political interview show Rebel HQ of the progressive media network The Young Turks TYT. In the Democratic primary for the special election, Tlaib finished second to Detroit City Council President Brenda Jones, who received 32,727 votes, 37.7% of the total to Tlaib's 31,084, 35.9%. Bill Wild, mayor of Westland, received 13,152 votes, 15.2%, and Ian Conyers, the great-nephew of former Congressman Conyers, took fourth with 9,740, 11.2%. Let's now shift gears and explore 2018 general through a critical lens, uncovering its strengths and weaknesses. In the Democratic primary for the general election, Tlaib defeated five other candidates. She received 27,803 votes, or 31.2%. Tlaib faced no major party opposition in the November 2018 general election, although Brenda Jones mounted an 11th write-in bid. On election day, Tlaib became the first Palestinian American woman to be elected to Congress. The time has come to unravel the secrets behind 2020 and gain a deeper understanding. Brenda Jones challenged Tlaib in the 2020 Democratic primary. Tlaib won, spending over $2 million in campaign funds to Jones's $140,000. In this part of the video, we'll be diving deep into 2022 and unraveling its profound impact. In 2022, following redistricting, Tlaib sought re-election in Michigan's newly drawn 12th congressional district. She won the Democratic primary with 64% of the vote over three challengers, and the general election with 71% of the vote over Republicans Stephen Elliott and Gary Walkouch of the Working Class Party. In this segment, we'll be unraveling the complexities of 2024 and exploring its multifaceted nature. In 2024, Tlaib was unopposed in the Democratic primary. In the general election, she won a third term in Congress with over 69% of the vote, defeating Republican nominee James Hooper 25.4%, Green Party nominee Brenda Kelvin Sanders 2.3%, and Working Class Party nominee Gary Walkouch 2.6%. In this chapter, we'll be shedding light on tenure and its role in shaping our understanding. Along with fellow Democrat Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, Tlaib is one of the first two Muslim women to serve in Congress. She took the congressional oath of office on January 3, 2019, swearing in on an English-language translation of the Quran. She wore a thobe, a traditional embroidered Arab dress, to the swearing-in ceremony. This inspired a number of Palestinian and Palestinian American women to share pictures on social media with the hashtag #TweetYourThobe. Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding ban from entering Israel as we navigate its intriguing terrain. On August 15, 2019, Israel announced that Tlaib and her colleague Ilhan Omar would be denied entry into the country. According to the Times of Israel, Deputy Israeli Foreign Minister Tzipi Hotovely said Israel would not allow those who deny our right to exist in this world to enter and called it a very justified decision. It was reported that President Trump had pressed Benjamin Netanyahu's government to make such a decision. The next day, Israeli authorities granted a request by Tlaib to visit her relatives in the Israeli-occupied West Bank on humanitarian grounds and under certain restrictions on political statements. Tlaib declined to go, saying that she did not want to make the trip under these oppressive conditions. The Israeli Interior Ministry stated that Tlaib had previously agreed to abide by any rules the government had set in exchange for being permitted to visit the country, and accused her of making a provocative request aimed at bashing the state of Israel. Let's now shift gears and explore campaign finance investigation through a critical lens, uncovering its strengths and weaknesses. On November 14, 2019, the House Ethics Committee announced that it was investigating whether Tlaib used congressional campaign money for personal expenses in violation of House rules. In August 2020, the committee directed Tlaib to reimburse her campaign $10,800, stating that Tlaib has an obligation to act in accordance with the strict technical requirements of federal campaign laws and regulations, including the restrictions on personal use of campaign funds. Now, let's shift our perspective and explore censure through a fresh lens, unlocking new perspectives. On October 26, 2023, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene proposed hers 829, which would have censured Tlaib for her criticism of Israel and for leading an insurrection after she participated in a protest at the Capitol. The resolution did not pass, with all Democrats and nearly 24 Republicans voting against it over concerns that the language was too incendiary. Tlaib called the resolution deeply Islamophobic and said it attacked peaceful Jewish anti-war advocates. On November 6, Tlaib issued a press release regarding Republicans' proposed censure resolutions against her. Tlaib said the proposed censure resolutions distorted her positions and were filled with obvious lies. She added that she had repeatedly denounced the horrific targeting and killing of civilians by Hamas and the Israeli government and that she supported a ceasefire to end the conflict. Tlaib said the phrase "from the river to the sea" was an aspirational call for freedom, human rights and peaceful coexistence, not death, destruction or hate. The House of Representatives censured Tlaib on November 7, 2023. Representative Rich McCormick's censure resolution, his 845, accused her of promoting false narratives regarding the October 7, 2023, Hamas attack on Israel and for calling for the destruction of the State of Israel. The resolution stated that the phrase "from the river to the sea" is a genocidal call to violence to destroy the State of Israel and its people, to replace it with the Palestinian state extending from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. 212 Republicans and 22 Democrats voted for the resolution, and 188 representatives, 184 Democrats and 4 Republicans against it. During the debate on the House floor, Tlaib said that she wanted a ceasefire and the cries of the Palestinian and Israeli children sound no different to me. Representative Brad Schneider said that Tlaib was trying to gaslight the world by defending the river to the sea slogan and voted for the resolution, while Representative Ken Buck argued that it was not Congress's job to censure somebody because we don't agree with them. On November 8, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre condemned Tlaib's use of the slogan "from the river to the sea." Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding 2024 as we navigate its intriguing terrain. In September 2024, several politicians and media figures, including Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel, CNN personality Jake Tapper, Michigan State Senator Jeremy Morse, and Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, criticized Tlaib for allegedly saying or insinuating that Nessel was prosecuting pro-Palestinian protesters because she is Jewish. A fact check by the Detroit Metro Times found that Tlaib never mentioned that Nessel is Jewish. In the upcoming section, we'll be shining a light on committee assignments. Committee on Financial Services. Subcommittee on Diversity and Inclusion. Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. Committee on Natural Resources. Subcommittee on National Parks, Forests and Public Lands. Committee on Oversight and Reform. Subcommittee on Civil Rights and Civil Liberties. Subcommittee on Environment. Get ready to immerse yourself in the world of caucus memberships as we examine its impact and relevance. Congressional Progressive Caucus, Congressional Freethought Caucus, Congressional Caucus for the Equal Rights Amendment. As we enter this new phase, let's analyze political positions from different angles and evaluate its significance. Tlaib, a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, aligns politically with the left wing of the Democratic Party. Get ready for an exciting exploration as we unravel the mysteries of Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Tlaib has said she opposes providing aid to Netanyahu Israel and supported the Palestinian right of return and a one-state solution. In 2018, J Street, a mainstream pro-Israel Jewish organization, withdrew its endorsement of Tlaib due to her support for a one-state solution. J Street said she had misled it about her views on the issue during her primary campaign. Responding to criticism, Tlaib elaborated by saying that she believed a two-state solution under Benjamin Netanyahu's government was not possible without harming the Israeli people. Tlaib is one of the few members of Congress to openly support the boycott, divestment and sanctions BDS movement against the Israeli government. She has defended her support of the boycott on free speech grounds and as a response to Israel's military occupation of the West Bank and settlement building, which the international community considers illegal under international law, though Israel disputes this. In January 2019, Tlaib criticized anti-BDS legislation proposed by Senators Marco Rubio and Jim Risch. She argued that boycotting is a right and that Rubio and Risch forgot what country they represent. Tlaib's comments were criticized by several groups, including the Anti-Defamation League ADL, which said, though the legislation discussed is sponsored by 4 non-Jewish senators, any charge of dual loyalty has special sensitivity and resonance for Jews, particularly in an environment of rising anti-Semitism. Tlaib responded that her comments were directed at Rubio and Risch, not the Jewish American community. She was one of 17 members of Congress to vote against a July 2019 House resolution condemning the BDS movement, which passed by a margin of 381 votes. Tlaib suggested boycotting HBO host Bill Maher after he denounced the BDS movement. In March 2020, Tlaib spoke at a gala in Missouri for American Muslims for Palestine, a group that supports an end to the Israeli occupation of the West Bank, equality for Arab Israelis, and a right of return for Palestinian refugees, and says it stands against all forms of bigotry and racism. In December 2020, Tlaib deleted a retweet she had posted a few days earlier, on the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people, containing the phrase "from the river to the sea." On September 23, 2021, Tlaib called Israel an apartheid state on the House floor during a debate over funding for Israel's Iron Dome air defense system. Representative Ted Deutsch responded by accusing Tlaib of anti-Semitism. In 2022 and 2023, Tlaib introduced resolutions aimed at recognizing the Nakba that stated that a just and lasting peace cannot be established without addressing the Nakba and remedying its injustices towards the Palestinian people, and endorsed the Palestinian right of return. The resolutions resulted in criticism from Senators Rosen and Kennedy, who said that calling the establishment of the only Jewish state a catastrophe is deeply offensive and that the Capitol grounds should not be a pedestal to legitimize anti-Semitic bigotry. Tlaib responded to criticism by noting that organizations such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch had concluded that Israel has imposed a system of apartheid on Palestinians. On July 18, 2023, Tlaib and 8 other progressive Democrats, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, and Carson Summer Lee, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, and Delia Ramirez voted against a congressional non-binding resolution proposed by August Fugger that the State of Israel is not a racist or apartheid state, that Congress rejects all forms of antisemitism and xenophobia, and that the United States will always be a staunch partner and supporter of Israel. Brace yourself for an enlightening exploration of Gaza genocide as we dive into its profound implications. During the 2023 Israel-Hamas war, Tlaib released a statement grieving the loss of both Israeli and Palestinian life, saying the only way to end the cycle of violence was to dismantle the apartheid system in place, and calling for the end of unconditional U.S. support for Israel. Her statement was condemned by 2 representatives and the Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Tlaib repeatedly condemned Hamas's October 2023 attack on Israel. During the war, she has been the member of Congress most vehemently calling for a ceasefire. She has said that her criticism of Israel has always been directed at its government and its leadership under Netanyahu, saying, "It is important to separate people and governance. No government is beyond criticism. The idea that criticizing the government of Israel is anti-Semitic sets a very dangerous precedent, and it's been used to silence diverse voices speaking up for human rights across our nation." Tlaib criticized the United States' support for Israel's bombing of the Gaza Strip that killed thousands of Palestinian civilians in Gaza, and accused President Biden of supporting the alleged genocide of the Palestinian people. On November 3, 2023, she tweeted an anti-war video, writing, "POTUS, the majority of the American people are not with you on this one. Ceasefire no." The video ended with the words, "Joe Biden supported the genocide of the Palestinian people. The American people won't forget. Biden, support a ceasefire now or don't count on us in 2024. The thread ended with the tweet, "From the river to the sea is an aspirational call for freedom, human rights, and peaceful coexistence, not death, destruction, or hate. My work and advocacy is always centered in justice and dignity for all people no matter faith or ethnicity." In this section, we'll be deep diving into wars in Syria and Yemen, unraveling its complexities and uncovering valuable insights. Tlaib has criticized Saudi Arabia's human rights violations and the Saudi Arabian-led intervention in Yemen. In 2023, Tlaib was among 56 Democrats to vote for Henry's 21, which directed President Biden to remove U.S. troops from Syria within 180 days. In the following segment, we'll be examining Russian invasion of Ukraine in greater detail. Tlaib condemned the Russian invasion of Ukraine, calling it an unjustifiable violation of international law, and has called for sanctions on Russia following the invasion. She has voted multiple times to provide Ukraine with support following the invasion. As we enter this new chapter, let's navigate the complexities of domestic policy and unravel its multifaceted nature. Tlaib supports domestic reforms, including Medicare for all and $18 to $20 hourly minimum wage. On November 5, 2021, she was one of 6 House Democrats to break with their party and vote against the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act because it was decoupled from the social safety net provisions in the Build Back Better Act. Let's now enter the realm of reproductive rights and discover the fascinating stories it has to tell. Tlaib supports abortion rights and has criticized what she called white men trying to force women to not have the right to seek legal abortions. She was endorsed by the abortion rights organization NRAL. The time has come to unravel the secrets behind drug law reform and gain a deeper understanding. Tlaib supports the descheduling of cannabis and has supported the MORE Act, which would deschedule the substance, expunge cannabis convictions, and implement various social reforms aimed at addressing communities impacted by the war on drugs. In doing so, she emphasized the impact cannabis scheduling has had on minority communities, calling the war on drugs an effort targeting communities of color through overpolicing, criminalization, and mass incarceration. Let's transition to immigration and uncover its significance. Tlaib was an early supporter of the movement to abolish the Immigration Customs Enforcement Agency. In June 2019, she was one of 4 Democratic representatives to vote against the Emergency Supplemental Appropriations for Humanitarian Assistance and Security at the Southern Border Act, a $4.50 billion border funding bill that required Customs and Border Protection enact health standards for individuals in custody, such as forming standards for individuals for medical emergencies, nutrition, hygiene, and facilities, and personnel training. Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding police killings as we navigate its intriguing terrain. Following the killing of Downright, Tlaib called American policing inherently and intentionally racist, saying, "No more policing, incarceration, and militarization. It can't be reformed." Detroit Police Chief James Craig called Tlaib's comments disgusting. In 2023, Tlaib and Congresswoman Cori Bush were the only 2 representatives to vote against a resolution recognizing National Police Week. In the upcoming section, we'll be shining a light on impeachments of Donald Trump. Tlaib supported the efforts to impeach President Trump. In August 2016, she protested a speech Trump gave at Kober Center and was ejected from the venue. On her first day in Congress, January 3, 2019, she published an op-ed with John Bonfaz in which she argued that it was not necessary to wait for Special Counsel Robert Mueller to complete his criminal investigation before proceeding with impeachment. Later that day, Tlaib spoke at a reception for the Moven campaign, recounted a conversation with her son in which she expressed her resolve to impeach the motherfucker. Trump retorted that her comments were highly disrespectful to the United States of America. In a radio interview with Mehdi Hasan of The Intercept, Tlaib reiterated her call for Trump's impeachment. Tlaib voted for the second impeachment of Donald Trump after the January 6 United States Capitol attack. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of personal life and discover its practical applications. In 1998, at the age of 22, Tlaib married Faiz Tlaib. They have 2 sons. The couple have since divorced. In 2018, a campaign spokesperson referred to Tlaib as a single mother. In September 2018, the New York Times reported that Tlaib walked into her family's mosque to express her gratitude for the opportunity to run for Congress, articulating a belief that my Allah is she. The Detroit Free Press reported that, although she recognizes that some in her faith community consider her not Muslim enough, she believes that Allah understands that she deems her actions reflective of Islam. I appreciate your time and I'm grateful for every like, comment, and share.